Good evening, wheelchair football fans. This is Wheelchair Football Tonight. I am Jimmy Anderson, and this is our first game of the first season of the PWFL, second to none against the undefeated preseason Houston Hurricanes. There you hear him getting psyched up, and you hear a leaf blower in the background. Doesn't matter, didn't let it faze them. They're focused on the game, their undefeated winning streak at stake. And there is a team that's going to try to prove their name. Second to none, the McHouston family, Kim, Zach, Luke, and Trevor. A lot going on in this game. There was a little bit of controversy you're going to see. But in any case, first half highlights coming up right here. Watch this. Zach McHouston playing quarterback to his brother Luke. Right into the end zone. The extra point wasn't good, but it made it 6-0. And right now they are proving second to none. Now we have never seen them play wheelchair football before. We didn't know what to expect, so we got to watch out right here because they've already taken first blood. There you see Trevor running up, or rather that's Zach, or rather that's, yeah. But Chuck Anderson forced him out of bounds in any case. Here we go once again with Zach McHouston again to Luke. Another touchdown. Again, the point after was missed. But in any case, 12-0 to score so far. Here's Johnny Martinez and Chuck Anderson. Those twister twosome that was on fire last week. He was got right there, but he got a good reception. Now, this play invoked some controversy. The ball, in my professional opinion, was snapped before the buzzer. We'll talk about that later. Second half. Once again, Zach, now this time it's Kim McHouston running up. She's going all the way. Wait a minute. Chuck Anderson almost comes out of nowhere. Now look, he's blocked right here. No, he's not either. He got right by. I don't believe it. Beautiful return, however. There's Trevor snapping the ball again to his brother Zach. Nice pass. And it is intercepted by Johnny Martinez of the Hurricanes. Beautiful play right here. Watch Johnny Martinez looking for his opening. And there's... oh, look at that. Did you see that little hot potato action right there? Didn't know who to get. Almost a ping pong sort of situation. But he got it. Here we go with another snap. Making it. And once again, the McHoustons tonight are on fire. The winning streak is in jeopardy for the Hurricanes. Now Chuck Anderson and Johnny Martinez kind of switched positions. Chuck playing quarterback there, runs right up the sideline, goes out of bounds, but even still, beautiful play right there. They are way behind. Now this time the tandem switches up. Johnny Martinez makes the catch. Call a timeout right there, but that was the game. The score was 19-12. Now that buzzer beater, however, it did not stop the Hurricanes. In fact, it might have even made them play harder. There was some arguments going on, but they were stand-up players about it. However, the McHoustons take the victory, proving tonight that they are second to none. I'd watch out for this team early in the season. A little bit of unpredictability there in that first game. Now, that first game was a scoring fest. However, this is a defensive slug battle. The second game of the night, the Enzones and the Texas Thunder. As you're going to find out right here, we're going to take a look at the... can't remember which team this is. They don't have uniforms, so... that's Johnny Banda's team. That's the Thunder right there. Sorry about that, folks. I've got notes here, and I probably should... those are the end zones. In any case, looking at their pre-game huddles and strategies. And that's my cue to step out, ladies and gentlemen. Look right there. Here comes first half highlights of the game. As I said, defensive slug battle. Defensive slugfest, I should say. Watch this. Beautiful. Alan Montrose sacks Shea Matt. Now, another drive coming up right here. That was a fumbled snap. However, picks it up. Doesn't let him phase him. Looking for his opening. And he got it to Jacob. Beautiful pass. Shea with the tackle. We're going to take a look at that once again. Instant replay. There it is. Reverse angle this time. Now there's the snap. It was a little too high. Bounced off the ground. There was a little bit of controversy as to whether it was dead or not. The ball spotters ruled that it was all right. We didn't have formal referees. We are an upstart league, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful pass. Nice spiral. Look at that. Jacob gets it. As I said, that's Shea Matt with the tackle. Now, after 40 minutes of nearly scoreless wheelchair football, here's the final play of the game in the final seconds. Snaps it. Watch this. Watch this pass by Alan Montrose. Well, oh, look at that! He fell out of his chair and got it! Unbelievable. Spikes the ball. They questioned whether it was a touchdown or not. And here again, the slow motion instant replay reverse angle. And we're going to see whether in fact Josh Franklin got it or not. Here's Alan Montrose once again. That was a snap. It was very well done. Now watch this. Looking for his opening. There it is. There's the pass. He has to be in his chair with the ball before he falls. Watch Josh Franklin. He had it. He had it, ladies and gentlemen. He was in bounds. That was another controversy, but he was in the right batter's box on the concrete softball field at the Pasadena Multipurpose Recreational Center. Johnny Band is saying no, but everybody else said yes. Josh Franklin definitely said yes. And with that intensity, I wouldn't argue with Josh Franklin. That is the game. 6-0. Not enough time for an extra point. Who cares, though? Didn't matter. Could be 1 point to none. In any case, there were your winners, the Enzones. Now, everybody, nice. This is what I like about the Pasadena Wheelchair Football League. The sportsmanship. The sportsmanship. Everybody are gentlemen. Yes, there are disagreements. Everybody plays with intensity. But after each game, you see the handshakes. You see that everybody respects one another mutually. And everybody's out there. They are en route to winning the Louis Cantu Trophy. But we're early yet in the season. It's the third game of the night to Texas Bliss against the Pasadena Wildhawks. As we see right here, the Wildhawks. We called them the Eagles last time, but they are called the Wildhawks. We want to get that straight for everybody. Now, you're going to see a couple familiar faces on the Texas Bliss. A few people decided not to show up, but that didn't stop the Texas Bliss. As you're going to see here in a little bit, you'll see at least two familiar faces. And you probably saw them earlier in the night, and you probably saw them last week. Yes, I am referring to that Texas Twister twosome of Johnny Martinez and Chuck Anderson. First half coming up right here. There we go. Snaps the ball. Watch this here. Beautiful catch right there. Now, this particular team, the Wildhawks, the upstart team in this particular league, we don't know all the names yet. We apologize for that. We will get the names as soon as possible. They are new players to this particular area. I've never seen them before, but what I'm seeing, I'm very impressed. Look at that. Again, I'm sorry I don't know your name, but he refers to himself as the LeBron James of football, and the quarterback kind of thinks he's the Peyton Manning. And so far, they're not proving me wrong. Look at this. Another touchdown. That's beautiful. And they're getting the extra points, by the way. Made it 14-0. I believe that's David Guerrero is the quarterback. This time his brother. Oh, I'm sorry, that is David Guerrero right there. Here he is. Beautiful pass right there. Gets it in. Makes it 21-0. I got the extra point. All around great games tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Now here's Johnny Martinez. Let's see who he passes it to. Well, Yeah, it is Chuck Anderson. Nobody got him. They thought it was a sack, but it was not. He didn't touch him. At least he didn't touch him in the back. That's the rule, folks. You got to touch him in the back, not the arms. And he got the touchdown right there. They didn't get the extra point. It made it 21-6. Legal play. Ball spotters accepted it as well. Here comes the next play. Just runs it up the field. Didn't even need to pass it right there. He saw his opening. He took it. Made it 28-6, and that would end up being the final score of the night, 28-6 in favor of the Wild Hawks. Except that there was one more play that I didn't notice, and they got there it is right there. All right. Sorry about that, folks. In any case, you know what? We're a new league. We're all going to kind of get it together. We didn't have formal referees. We may have them later on. We had ball spotters. Players took their own discretions. However, everybody's sportsmanlike. Johnny Martinez, Chuck Anderson did not let that loss stop him in the first game. They did lose in this one. However, and we've seen some very unpredictable football this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is our first night of wheelchair football tonight. And hopefully you will join us each and every single week for wheelchair football tonight, the Pasadena Wheelchair Football League to the Louis Cantu Trophy. This is Jimmy Anderson signing off for Old School Media.